With the entrance of Monsieur Morrel, Danglars and Caderousse were dispatched in search of the bridegroom to convey to him the intelligence of the arrival of the important personage whose coming had created such a lively sensation, and to beseech him to make haste. Danglars and Caderousse set off upon their errand at full speed. But ere they had gone many steps, they perceived a group advancing toward them, composed of the betrothed pair, a party of young girls in attendance on the bride, by whose side walked Dantès' father, the whole brought up by Fernand, whose lips wore their usual sinister smile. Neither Mercédès nor Edmond observed the strange expression of his countenance. They were so happy that they were conscious only of the sunshine and the presence of each other. Having acquitted themselves of their errand, and exchanged a hearty shake of the hand with Edmond, Danglars and Caderousse took their places beside Fernand and old Dantès, the latter of whom attracted universal notice. The old man was attired in a suit of glistening watered silk, trimmed with steel buttons beautifully cut and polished. His thin but wiry legs were arrayed in a pair of richly embroidered clocked stockings, evidently of English manufacture, while from his three-cornered hat depended a long streaming knot of white and blue ribbons. Thus he came along, supporting himself on a curiously carved stick, his aged countenance lit up with happiness, looking for all the world like one of the aged dandies of 1796, parading the newly opened gardens of the Luxembourg and Tuileries. All right, everybody is here and accounted for. Everyone that we've been introduced to so far in this story. We got Mercédès, we got Dantès, we got Daddy Dantès, we got Fernand, we got Danglars, we got Caderousse, we got Morrel. They are all here on display. Fernand is here, bringing up the rear of the wedding party, smiling sinisterly as he walks along, no one taking notice of him and his suspicious behavior and countenance. Is that a word that they would use in the story? So, considering the end of last chapter, where he picks up the note that Danglars wrote and kind of walks off in the direction of Marseille, not where he was expected to go, I think this can only mean one thing, right? Like, now the question is just, when will the shoe drop, not will the shoe drop? And more importantly, how is the shoe going to drop? What's going to happen with this whole scheme that they've... Danglars has come up with. But let's back up a second here and talk real quick about Daddy Dantès, because they make a big to-do about his suit here. So, they're talking about the silk, the trimmed buttons, the clocked stockings. I should probably look up what that means, because it's the second time it's come up in the story. That is of English manufacture. He has a three-corner hat. He's got ribbons. He's walking on a carved stick, saying that he looks like one of the dandies of 1796. I don't know what that means exactly. You know what? We're going to do some research in real time. Okay, so listen, we hear the term dandy tossed around a lot, especially in modern culture. It has some pretty negative connotations, but I think that of the time, it was just kind of... I don't know if it was an insult to call people this, but basically a dandy is essentially someone who has excessive importance on his appearance and style. I can definitely picture some modern equivalents to that, but that they had reached their peak, this style of person, this attitude and personality type reached their peak in popularity in 1796. And so the sentence is saying that he looks like an aged dandy of 1796, meaning that, like, if we can draw a parallel to now, it'd be like saying, like, he looked like a hippie from the 1970s. Someone who might be a little bit out of step with modern times. A hippie isn't exactly, the one-to-one comparison here, because they're talking about him dressing to the nines. Maybe it's more like, if you had a grandfather who was putting on some sort of like tailed tuxedo to go to a wedding from his youth, looking, trying his best to look as good as possible, but being completely out of step with the times. Anyway, that just really endears my heart to Daddy Dantès. And I'm curious if it means that at one point in time, he was of a higher status, which would give texture to his backstory to ask why he's in the position he's now in. We don't know what happened to Dantès' mother, do we? Here's the thing about me. I tend to lose details in my brain pretty quickly, especially when it comes to plot. So forgive me, I might need to refresh myself on the things we have read here together. But I don't remember anything being mentioned of his mother, what happened to him. We definitely got that for Mercédès. Were they of a higher status at one point and dropped? Interesting. These are questions that I want to track moving forward. I wonder if Dumas will explicitly address them as we go along. Who knows? I don't. And the only way to find out is to keep reading. So meet me here tomorrow as we continue The Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, bye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.